Right, so something new and exciting is coming to the world of Flesh and Blood in the form of these gem packs. So, what are gem packs? Well, they are going to be the new form of prize support going forward from the Hunted. So, they're slated to take over from Armory kits come February. And the way they'll work is essentially as a way to sort of ease the competitive nature of Armory events and sort of bring it down to a bit more of a player-friendly, more casual event where you're not so much gunning for the big prize as you are just gunning for these glorious-looking gem packs. So, what is in a gem pack? Well, nice and simple. It's 3 cards per pack. You get 1 regular printed card, 1 premium foil, which can be either your rainbow foil, your cold foil, or newly added, a Marvel card, as well as 1 additional art card. So a nice little pickup, right? So they are sort of these mini sets, but I assume they will sort of still fill the niche of the Armory kits, which will basically be adding extended versions of the majority of cards, right? Along with some cold foil variants and an occasional, very exciting Marvel. And I'm going to just make a somewhat of an educated guess, right? As the majority of playable heroes are entering X set, I would assume we might see the Marvels in the actual gem packs maybe lean towards the Armory decks, right? A Marvel version of those heroes could be interesting, but overall, this is a nice change, and it is highly more flexible than your usual Armory kit. So, an Armory kit, again, usually includes a couple, or I should say a large amount, right, of rainbow foil cards, extended art for you to hand out, and then a few more chase cards by way of your cold foils to act as a bit more of a competitive incentive, along with your People's Champion playmats and a couple posters. So generally speaking, right, although Armory events are more of your entry-level events, they have a tendency to get a little bit heated and a little bit more competitive than what LSS might necessarily want. So the main idea behind gem packs is, again, to ease that competitive nature and allow Armory events to serve a better purpose within the community as a bit more of a casual experience and a bit better for player introductions to Classic Constructed, working your way up to your Battle Hardens, to your Callings, to other big major events. So, gem packs are replacing Armory kits as the main form of prize support for Flesh and Blood organized play. The interesting thing to note there is they are replacing Armory kits, but not necessarily the skirmish season kits, right? So we might still see this as a still guaranteed incentive for Blitz or Living Legend as it is now, right? And their main way to sort of introduce cold foil variants of the young heroes. Because again, right, it's only stated that it is replacing the Armory kits come February. Each main booster set season will have its very own gem pack crafted around the theme of that season, kicking off with Gem Pack 1, featuring cards related to the Hunted. Now, I don't think that's any new information, right? Generally speaking, the Armory kits for any given season revolving around X release includes the cards from that release. Hence here, right, with Rosetta, we have Fruits of the Forest, we have Rampant Growth, and we have Rousing Aether, all cards featured in Rosetta. So that's still going to be the norm, right? But with that other added goodie of a Marvel card, right? So, what else can we find out? Gem packs are to reward in-store participation over performance, giving players at all levels equal opportunity to open the chase card and offering an awesome incentive for newer or casual players to join in the fun, right? So it's not all about getting that top spot in any given event. It's now just acquiring these packs and opening them and having a chance, right? Rather than a guarantee to get something exciting. So local game stores will be able to utilize these packs in a greater amount of flexibility when it comes to prize support, allowing them to more easily support in-store play and meet unique requirements of their community, right? If you have a more casual-centered community or a more competitive community, you have a decent amount of flexibility in how you utilize these packs. Allocations will also scale based on the community size of the LGS and be supplied over 2 waves per season, with each wave providing prize support for approximately 2 months of in-store play, right? So we get a release, we get the first wave, 2 months later or halfway through that release, right? We get our next allocation, and basically it helps in that sense because a store can see whether or not a release is a flop or not, right? If the current meta is fun and interesting, if it's attracting players, right? They're going to go up, you get more people, you get a higher allocation. But say the set's drying up, people have sort of lost interest, then your allocation goes down and you don't have to order as much, right? So it's flexible, it's scalable, it's nice all around, right? Gem Pack 1 will be available in local game stores come February 1st, along with the release of The Hunted, and stay tuned for the juicy previews of the cards inside the packs, right? The nice thing about this too is we are basically getting all the Armory kits we would get all in one go, right? We get all the cards from the 4 possible Armory kits that we'd usually get in one singular pack, right? Because it does have that culmination of 8 cold foils, right? Which is basically what we get per Armory kit. You get 2 different cold foils, and then you get a bunch of extended art rainbow foils. But I'm probably most curious, right, about the non-foil cards, what they're going to be. I would love to see this as sort of a way to supply necessary cards, right? Maybe not the high-end cards, but a few staples here or there that sort of, again, fit the theme of the set. So Warrior, Assassin, and Ninja for the Hunted, or even as a way to shore up the supply of Majestics for the given set, right? So without impeding the rainbow foils or whatever extended arts are in the set, you can still introduce these non-foil variants. Heck, you could even do extended art non-foil variants. That could be interesting as well, right? But it is a interesting tidbit, right? I'd assume more than anything, it's there just to primarily sandwich the important card, being that premium foil, where it will most likely be your extended rainbow foil, your cold foil, or your spectacular new Marvel. Now, I do also find it curious, right, that saved frequencies are approximate average across the entire production of a product and are not guaranteed to exist in any given pack, display, or case of a product due to variations that may occur in manufacturing processes. So this being the first go at it, right, I'm excited to I guess, somewhat see if this gets screwed up a little bit, right, and you get a God pack that maybe just has all premium foils, right, instead of one of each. Interesting. But how will you receive your gem packs? Well, again, gem packs are allocation based in 2 waves over a period of 4 months, right? The minimum allocation is going to be 50 packs per wave, which then equates to about 25 packs per month, right? So that should, at the very least, handle even the smaller stores' participation pricing, right? And then still have a nice amount of overflow to then go into the flexible uses of the gem packs, which are pretty much more exciting to me, right? Because Armory events are still going to be limited, right, at 4 events per month. So in terms of your allocation, I assume everything is going to be scaled off of just your Armory events, regardless of whatever other events you're using the gem packs for. So each store can have up to 4 events a month, or essentially 8 events per allocation. And with the odd amount of 50 packs per card in, I would highly assume that that is always going to guarantee that you have a nice amount of overflow to go into some of these other uses, such as on-demand events, learn-to-play events, or as just general rewards to community members who are helping out, right, through aspects such as teaching others how to play Flesh and Blood, or just helping out to facilitate events. You know, maybe you slide one to your regular judge or your helping judge. There's lots of different ways for you to utilize this, and it's just overall a lot more flexible than what the Armory kits are. And it also seems like even the smallest allocation is generally going to support more packs, right, or more rewarding than a general Armory kit does. So again, the main idea here is to ease up on the competitive nature of events, right? Shift a little bit more to just playing a deck you want to play rather than perhaps net decking whatever the top current meta deck is. And again, kind of sucking the fun out of the event from everyone else, right? Just to make sure you would get that main staple cold foil, right? Whereas now, even if, say, a store does allocate, you know, an extra 1-2 packs, whatever it is, to first place, second place, third place, it's not as relevant because, again, you can't really guarantee what you're going to get out of the packs. So I do highly hope that this does overall incentivize people just to have a fun time, right? Rather than necessarily a straight competitive time as some of those other big major events. Another big thing going on here with the gem packs is they're sort of envisioning their big philosophy point, right? Which they have sort of referenced over and over again when it comes to the feel of acquiring Flesh and Blood cards, which is that great moment when you open a random product like this and you find that really chase card. And hopefully the Marvels do actually stay as a nice chase card, and they are somewhat rare, but also not necessarily necessary, right? So hopefully they stick with heroes. You know, if it's a weapon even, that won't be too bad, but, you know, if it's a Marvel version of a stable card, if it's the first, you know, Marvel of a Majestic, where you have the playable side and then you have this glorious full card art on the back, then that gets a little bit worrisome. because I would still like to see these be acquirable. And granted, the allocation size is definitely going to be huge, right? Every store minimum of 50. So, there's going to be a lot of these packs in circulation over that 4-month period of every given release. So I don't think you'll have a hard time, even if you don't go and participate regularly, right? If you don't have a local LGS, I feel like these packs aren't going to have a huge premium, right? Especially not after the FOMO dies down, right? Because they will definitely be super hype, right? Going into the release of the Hunted and going into the first wave of these products being this new thing and everyone has to chase the hidden marvel, right? But only time will tell. Now, another thing to note is, what about posters? So, unfortunately, along with these, a little shift to posters and digital marketing assets, right? So basically, for the Hunted, everything is downloadable and may be printed by store or person, right? You're more than welcome to open up the Armory event marketing assets, go down to whatever your local print center is. It's Officeworks for us here in Oz. I don't know what it is over there in the USA, right? But yeah, you're more than welcome to print your own poster if you really want, but they will eventually come back. So they are working on new in-store marketing materials to be introduced and distributed later in 2025. So if not the next set of the year, the last set of the year should surely have some juicy posters back in there. Again, it's probably more so them working out how to manage the sizing and the boxing to go along with the cartons that they are shipping out, right? Because it's a bit different than the normal Armory kit bundles. This is a much easier product, I would assume, for them to ship, being just a nice 50-pack carton per allocation, right? But overall, I do think this is a wonderful change for the game, for the competitive Armory events, right? To actually, again, take them down a peg, make it just a bit more of a relaxed time where you can play what you want rather than having to play X thing, right? To sort of try and aim for that top card. Granted, I assume, right, there will still be very competitive stores and there will be very casual stores. So you will still have to fill out your local LGS and see what exactly they do with the gem packs. But it does seem like no matter what, there will be plenty to go around. So even if they run an X competitive event, I can see them also having, a little surplus of packs to then utilize in these other flexible ways. So again, it is a wonderful move by LSS to open it up a little bit wider, right? And have alternative ways to utilize these packs rather than just how the normal Armory kits were being handled. So it's up to any given store to figure out how many gem packs they give out each week, what events they wish to spread them across, or even perhaps put together a monthly league which rewards frequent participation, right? You could have a running tally of how many events a person shows up for, and then at the end of a given month, give out X packs, right? There's lots of different ways. It's up to the LGS to be as creative as they want, right? Because again, while it's recommended that these are the Armory event support item, it's not a necessity like the Armory kits. So even the small store can have a fun time in utilizing these in a bit more of an unusual way than what we might necessarily be normalized to when it comes to Flesh and Blood. So yeah, there you go. The new exciting gem packs. Let me know what you think. Hope you enjoy. See ya.